Welcome to the Fairmont Pond grand reopening. My name is... We're so excited for this project. My name is Kristin Riker. I'm the director of Salt Lake City Public Lands, and I'm over the Parks Division who oversees this park. Today we're going to have a couple speakers here. Before I introduce those speakers, I'd like to just say a couple thanks to some folks, boots on the ground folks, who were here overseeing this project. The first one is Chris Sands with BioWest. He was our architect on the project. Ron Salisbury is a Salt Lake City employee. He's a landscape architect, project manager for Salt Lake City Engineering. Tyler Murdoch works for Salt Lake City Public Lands. Tyler was our project manager representing public lands, and he was here, I don't know, twice, 3 times, 4 times a week sometimes, making sure everything went well. So thanks, Tyler. S&L Construction was so great to work with on this project. They took so much care and attention to detail on this project. We were so excited. Dan Cochran was the project manager, and Odin Lewis was superintendent. Thanks to both of you. And with that, I would like to introduce our mayor, Salt Lake City Mayor, Jackie Biskupski.
Thank you, Kristin. It's so fun to have such amazing leadership, so thank you for your leadership and the expertise that comes with our internal team and how partnerships turn into something like this, which is just so great. So thank you for joining us here today. Certainly an exciting day in Sugar House and really for the entire city. This has been a long time coming, and I know many who are speaking today will talk about the uniqueness of this project. So I wanted to say thank you to all of you who were involved in making this a reality and stayed the course through the years. In particular, though, I want to thank one individual without whom this may have never been accomplished. And those of you who know Amy Berry know she loves Salt Lake City and Sugar House. So we have you also know when she sets her mind on accomplishing something, especially something which will benefit the community, she is in it until it is done. And so years ago, Amy set her mind on fixing the Fairmont Pond. She advocated for funding, worked with designers, and supported park staff on the project from beginning to end. Amy has been a true champion of this project and for our city. She believes in the power of residents to make this city stronger. She's not a complainer, she is a doer. She certainly is a problem solver and a collaborator. I didn't want to let the day go by without honoring you, Amy, and your role in getting this pond back up and running in such great fashion. We have a little gift for you. So if you will please come up, this is going to be kind of fun. We brought out of our records this original thoughts and design about this pond, and we had it framed for her because this is where it all began, and this is where we are today, and we're here today because of you. So thank you. Oh yes. Jump in. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. I didn't expect that at all. And now I'm a little tongue-tied, which never really happens to me, but thank you. I've been really just had this permanent smile on my face for about 2 weeks, knowing this was coming, and I kind of want to expound on what the mayor just said, is that this really is the culmination of what one person can start. I most definitely did not end up doing this, but I started it. And I can tell you, I remember feeling like this whole area of the park just always fought against the natural environment. The natural springs would flood all the time because that's what they do. And the ducks and the water were eroding the banks of the pond, and it was always muddy and nobody could enjoy it. And I remember starting these conversations with Parks and Public Lands about 6 years ago. So it doesn't happen overnight, but being involved and continuing to be involved and working through the process can culminate in this. And throughout the whole way, I have to say I got so much support as I went along from the administration, from the city council, and I do want to thank Lisa Adams, who's not here today, but our former city council rep, who really did stand up in the end and make sure the city council knew this was a project worth funding. So I want to thank her for that. But truly, I had this concept, and I think out of this, the only thing that still really existed out of my concept is the boardwalk. Because the amazing folks at Parks and Public Lands just elevated this to something I could never have imagined. And I really do want to point out, I remember conversations with Nancy Monteith, the landscape architect at Parks and Public Lands, who would get so excited about talking about riparian vegetation and all this, and I would think, well, that's great, I just don't want any more mud. And she had this vision, and Tyler Murdoch, right over there, was an amazing project lead because he checked in with me throughout this process to see, is this kind of what you were thinking? Are we on the right track? Which was unheard of and I didn't expect, but it became really clear to me right away this was going to exceed what I could have thought of. And they brought their expertise, their skills, and their knowledge, and their vision to create what we have today. And it is, the only words I could come up with was, it's extraordinary, and it's just simply amazing. And I just want to thank them. Tyler found every penny he could scrounge around and make it stretch to get this project to where it is today. And so we have such amazing folks at the city, especially in Parks and Public Land, who are working on our behalf every day. And I want to make sure that they get the credit because I had this little vision to fix the mud and maybe we could keep walking over the flooded area, and they turned it into this amazing amenity. And I know, as I hear from my neighbors and myself, we are so excited to just enjoy this amenity for years and years to come. And thank you so much for this and your words, and I just really appreciate all the work everybody has done and all the support.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. I think Amy's extraordinary as well. I think Amy's part-time job is being a volunteer for all of us. Next, we're going to hear remarks from Council Member Amy Fowler.
Thank you. So everybody said all the thank yous, but I want to take a moment to have my own little thank yous. As many of you know, I actually just live right over on 2700 South. So this is my park. I come here all of the time. And I cannot say thank you enough to the people who have made this happen. All of the people at this city, the mayor, our former city council members, but my predecessor, Lisa Adams. But as the mayor mentioned, most importantly, it's the community members. It's community members like Amy who take the initiative to say, hey, I think we can make an improvement somewhere in our community. Let's do this. And who keep fighting and keep persisting to make sure that it happens. Well, the city has invested a significant amount in this park, from our new dog park to the pickleball courts to this amazing new pond. It really comes down to the persistence, involvement, and dedication of our community members. In fact, it's actually one of the reasons I love Sugar House, my neighborhood, as much as I do, because our community members are truly dedicated to creating a space where everyone is welcome. And as I was thinking about the park and how much it means to me and how much I spend my time here and my neighborhood, I was thinking that this investment and the investments that we've made with this park just exemplify a long-standing tradition here in Sugar House. And that is to welcome everyone and to create a space where people can play and celebrate together. And so, funny tidbit, sometimes I like to do little tidbits of historical past. And in the 1930s, soccer teams, and since we're in the midst of the World Cup, I thought this was apropos, soccer teams comprised of immigrant players from all over the world dominated that sport here in Utah. And many of those soccer games were played right here in Fairmont Park. And just like then, Sugar House and our community, our city, and the dedication of our community members continue to embrace everyone from anywhere and everywhere, no matter how they got here. And this park is a resemblance, is a manifestation of that dedication, that everyone is welcome in our city, everyone is here for a place, that we create places for everyone to celebrate and to be together. As I look around, I think of all of the time I've spent here. I come with my family, my friends, my godson, or just me and my dogs. Thank you again, Amy, for the dog park. It really is lovely. If you haven't visited it, you should. And I look at everything as how far this park has come. But what I also think about is how much more we have to do. The exciting new activities, exciting new festivals, and exciting new spaces for our community members to gather together and to celebrate. I so much look forward to reactivating this space for everyone to be here. So thank you so much for all of you for being here, for all of the work that our community members have done, and for allowing me to be a part of all of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Fowler. So I'd just like to say that we do have one more project coming in this park, and it will be some pathways through the park and lighting throughout the park on those pathways, as well as lighting on our volleyball court. So we're really excited about that. I'd like to introduce a couple folks from the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources. Robbie Edgel, he's the habitat restoration biologist, and Mark Farmer, the habitat manager. And I'll let them speak in a moment, but first I just want to say that the Utah Division of Wildlife partnered with Salt Lake City Public Lands on the planning and design of this entire project. They played a critical role in securing additional funding through the Watershed Restoration Initiative, which funded a portion of the pond improvements and incorporation of the urban fishery that we have here at the pond. In addition, they also spent 2 months last fall dredging the pond to increase the depth to improve the fish habitat. The crews sourced clay from the nearby Shopco up here redevelopment site that was used to line the pond as an alternative to the plastic liner. And those efforts actually significantly increased the life of the liner here from about 20 years to about 100 years. So they saved us a lot of money on that liner. Thank you for your role in that. And then lastly, DWR staff purchased and helped to install the wetland sod here around the edges of the pond to keep the mud away, Amy. These wetland plants provide important riparian habitat, and they improve the water quality. So thanks so much to the DWR staff who are involved in these efforts, and I think Robbie's gonna, or one of you, okay, one of you is gonna come up. Thank you.
I'll keep this pretty short. I'm Scott Root. Mark couldn't make it today. I am the Conservation Outreach Manager, and really my big statement today is we are very excited about this project. Timing is everything. We were looking for an urban fishery to go with our many community fishing ponds throughout the state, and here it is. It was the best one we found in Salt Lake. We felt had the best, I guess, potential for a fishery, and the idea was popular. So we agreed to do all the work, and Robbie Edgel, he can tell you a little bit about the process if he'd like to. But I want you to know, we've agreed to stock fish in here. It's a community pond, so the limit's going to be 2. Doesn't matter what species. We have 3 species planned. Right now we've got rainbow trout in the pond, and if you've seen those rainbow trout, they're pretty big. And a lot of people like to do catch and release, but we will allow you to keep 2 of those fish. We have plans to stock a fish called a wiper, which is a mix between a white bass and a striped bass. And we will also put channel catfish in here. We love the idea of having another family fishery and a place where many youth groups can come here and fish and enjoy the outdoors, and in this beautiful park. Oh my goodness. I'm one of those that grew up here in Salt Lake, so it's near and dear to my heart, and I know Robbie's the same way. And that's probably all I'm going to say, that we are very grateful for the partnership and for the opportunity to help with such a great project. And I'll turn it over to Robbie.
Thank you, Scott. Okay, lastly, I just want to say thanks to my boss, Lisa Schaefer. She is the Public Services Department Director, for all her support on projects like this. She's the best boss ever. There is a farmer's market that is happening in the park, in the area over behind you, that please visit afterwards. But with that, let's cut the ribbon and officially open the pond. Oh, Robbie. Sorry. Robbie, please.
I just want to say thank you to Amy and Tyler and Chris from BioWest, and it's just been a testament of a good timing. Like Scott mentioned, so I'm Robbie Edgel. I'm a habitat restoration biologist for the Utah Division of Wildlife, and I work mostly with the Watershed Restoration Initiative program, and we do work all over the state, and it's not very often that we do work in very urban areas like this. Mostly we're out in very rural areas. And but this project, we were trying, as Scott mentioned, we were looking for a place in an urban area in Salt Lake City where we could put a community fishery. And this place jumped out as a good candidate for a first urban fishery in Salt Lake City. And because of Amy's work to get a project started, we felt like we could add money from the Watershed Restoration Initiative and just build on what had already been started, and I think we can say it's turned out amazing, and thank you to so many people that were involved with that. And just want to say, the Watershed Restoration Initiative does stuff like this for lots of different species throughout our state, and we're hope that we can continue to support that effort throughout this, to continue to do stuff like this, and your support is critical in that. And we're just grateful for this opportunity to partner with Salt Lake City and do something really cool like this. And I'm excited. I grew up in Salt Lake City and always dreamed of being able to go and fish, just ride my bike or hop on tracks and with my fishing pole and go fishing. And so I'm grateful, or I'm excited to give that opportunity to kids. So with that, I'll just turn it back over.